Hello and welcome. So today I've got this Campagnolo Chorus 9-speed rear derailleur to work on. Unfortunately, when I bought this, the seller was not quite honest and didn't point out some of the faults or the damage that had been caused on this derailleur. So you'll see right here that this stopper part for this plate right here has been damaged, so that's no longer holding. And if you look very closely as well, the cage for the jockey wheels is slightly bent out of shape. I guess this is not such a big deal because you could easily bend this back. However, I'd say this is that was very dishonest of the person to not point this out to me when I was purchasing it. So we're gonna disassemble it. Now what's really interesting about this derailleur, for me anyway, is comparing it to the previous Campagnolo derailleur that I had. What one was it? I think it was the Record. And I remember that there was slight play here at the back, and if you look here, this one also has a slight play. I think we've pretty much determined now that what happens and causes this is this bolt here that's at the behind this jockey wheel. I think what happens is it's grinding into the aluminium of the cage plate, and this is eventually causing it to have play in between these two parts, unfortunately. Something that you probably see as well in the XTR M900. So anyway, let's clean this one up and see what's inside. Let's take off some of these parts here, give that an inspection. Compared to Shimano springs on these barrel adjusters, these are extra thick. They're not joking around here at Campagnolo. Let's remove these bolts for the pulleys, and that will be a number 3. Oh, that was tight. On the back of this, you'll have this bolt then to remove, and it will be a number 5. You're going to go all the way inside to take it off. Might be quite tight, we're going to find out. No, it isn't. Oop. So inside of here, you'll have the spring. We can take that out. All the way at the back, you have a spacer. We can remove the bolt. This part here that adjusts the tension on that spring can be taken off as well. Let's remove that screw. Now let's work on the top knuckle. So you'll have a clip that we're going to take off. Hold this a little bit down with your finger, I'd say, because it could flick. And put that off. Let's push that bolt through. And the spring, one tip slightly longer, going down inside. Okay, there is a seal right here, and you can get underneath it with a knife. It's so tightly put on though, I would pretty much avoid taking this off, because you're probably going to have a very hard time putting it back on again, and it's not really going to give me any advantage removing it. Right here, there's this screw that you can remove. I'm guessing it's so you have access to the internal spring in case you want to replace it. Let's take this off and have a look at that. So make sure you get the right bit to avoid damage. This could be quite tight. Get ready for it. Not too tight. the ends. See if that. Okay, I'm opening up the derailleur a little bit to remove a bit of pressure that's probably on this part, and it's come out. So it's a lot thicker than the Mavic derailleurs I worked on, and I guess that avoids them being bent. That was probably the issue with Mavic derailleurs, they're too thin. So I'm just zooming in to make sure you see this. Between all that, there's a tiny thin little washer, easily be missed. So now that I've opened this up, I thought that this was to give you access to the spring to be able to change it, but from what it appears, now that I've opened it, it's not something that you would be able to do because the part that's holding the spring is riveted, and even if I unlatch this part right here, it would actually spring back against this back part of the parallelogram, and the other tip of the spring would not be able to be, well, it wouldn't be able to be removed. You need to take this part off, and you can't because it's riveted. So there you go. At least it gives you better access though to clean the interior, and that's exactly and precisely what I will be doing now. So I'm going to let you get on with cleaning yours, and I'm going to do the same. Everything's been cleaned now. My hands are not dirty from the dirt on the derailleur. In fact, I did this a few days ago, and in between I was not able to film putting this back together again. My hands are actually dirty because of some dye I've just put on my, I'm trying to change the colour on my couch. So I'm going to now grease up some of the parts. I'm going to be using some Motorex for the lubrication. I suggest you use something of a similar nature. Bearing grease will obviously do. So I'm going to get on with doing that. Oh, interesting about this grease, actually, the Motorex 2000 grease. So right now it's 35 Celsius where I'm living, and I've noticed it has kind of started to melt a little bit. So temperature is definitely affecting this grease. And just to compare the Shimano grease, I'm interested now, seems to be a little bit less affected by the heat. It seems to be a little bit more thicker. I think we're going to work on this part first. So grab this part here. That's the kind of like the adjustment part for the spring. We're going to slot that way down. I'm not too sure which side it goes on yet, and I'm not going to put the screw. I'm going to put the cage plate first, I think, and then we can put the screw. Give us a bit of an idea roughly where it needs to be positioned. Actually, we've got to close this up first. I think it'll be easier if we do it now. So I'm going to grab that type of, I don't know, pivot part that was running through, whoops, and just put a tiny bit of grease on there. And we're going to close this up, and if you remember, in between here and on the interior where we're going to screw down, run this through, there's a tiny little spacer, so take that and stick that spacer right there in preparation. Hopefully that's going to hold while we push that down, or maybe not. Yes, holding. I think this time I got it. Yeah, I think that time I got it. So push that way back, and then we're going to screw that down. Okay, let's now work on the bottom knuckle. We're going to put the spring back in. So grab that long bolt and run it through the back so it goes on the top there. And then you have that spacer that runs through the part where the threading is of the bolt. And then take the spring. I don't think it's very important which side it's on. and there's only one hole here at the back, so run that tip of the other spring into the hole. So on the interior of the bottom knuckle there's a hole at the back there, so you're going to aim for that tip of that spring to go into the hole. I think that's engaged. So push that all the way down once it's engaged into the hole, and then we're going to start to screw here at the back a little bit. Okay, on the back here, before you start tightening up this the spring inside here, you can actually, and be careful of this obviously to not cross thread anything, you can tighten this just a little bit down to hold things for you. So again, be careful to not damage the threading inside the derailleur. And then what we can do is we can turn this around until you get this part here. That's going to go in front of the stopper part right there, that pointy part. So mine's in the right place now, and we can finish off screwing this down. Let's just let go. There you go. So that's properly engaged and nice and springy. We can now put that screw back right there. Let's work on this top knuckle. Grab the bolt, run that through. On the other side, we're gonna put that spring back. It doesn't seem to be one tip longer really than the other, so I think you can put any side you want. There seems to be only one hole at the back here, so aim for one tip of that spring to go into that hole. Okay, now you can put this plate back on as well. So there's two holes. I can't remember which one I took it off, but seeing as mine is basically broken on here anyway, it's practically making a difference. But I think the left hole is going to be for less tension, right more. In theory anyway, I think it's that. Or whichever one you want. Okay, so for the next part, usually what I do is I get a 2.5 Allen key, and I stick it like this, and then using my hand it enables me to turn this to the right position, and then seeing that stopper part there on that plate, it's going to go in front of the other stopper part on that knuckle, and it's going to go right in front. And then what you do is you kind of force it down with your fingers usually, and then once you've done that, you can holding everything in place with your hands, you push it down like this with maybe a wrench as well can help, and then you're going to slide the clip underneath here, and then after you can clip it with a wrench like so. Be careful of these little sharp edges here. I've just had that fly into my finger. That's pretty painful. Let's put the barrel adjuster back on. Let's put the jockey wheels back on. So normally they on the Campagnolo, I'm pretty sure that they usually write lower and upper on the outside here. I'm fairly certain that this is not the original for this one, and it's just a replacement that's not even compatible. Could be wrong though. I'll check that up. So lower will go on the lower, upper on the upper. Here I'm putting the lower one on. Grab the jockey wheel cage part. Can't remember what they call it, back or the front, either way. Screw that down, not too tight, just so that it holds everything. So, because we're gonna put the other one in place. So take the bolt, run that through. It's easier doing it like this. Put one finger in front of it to hold it. take one part of the jockey wheel, little plate, slide the rest through. And now this part you can slide on the top. Nice and tight. You can definitely put thread locker on these. Make sure they stay in place if you want. Take the anchor bolt. I'm guessing that part goes through. I haven't actually looked on the manual, but I'm guessing it does, because in any other position it doesn't seem to hold on well. Alright, that's good. So I mean, if they're good, there's going to be no friction really. That's good. Yeah, that's good as well. Right then, done. So I hope this helped you clean up your Campagnolo Chorus 9-speed rear derailleur. Thank you for listening, and until next time, peace out.